So based largely on the very limited reference material I've been able to find, mostly by going over the high resolution version of Terminator 2 and pausing it in places and then step framing it and that sort of stuff. I also went back to the original film and had a look at some of the pieces in relation to the calf and the lower leg. I've had to do my best guess in terms of some of the elements of the lower leg. The one that you can see here on the calf appears in a couple of different versions, some being lower or even higher than that. I've sort of split the difference and gone in between the two because I've also done these ones on the smaller pistons, which again are based on best guess type stuff because I've been able to find very little in terms of where they would or should go in terms of the real version. But again, based on the torso, on the pictures that I have been able to find in terms of reference, that seems the most logical positioning and the most logical type of positioning for them to go. The other one, which was also very hard to track down, was this back cable, which leads up into the pelvis. Comes down to where I consider to be the most logical place to put it, and I've achieved that by putting it in a hinge position of its own in between where the knee joint and the actual piston rod connects, and it seems to actually work quite well in terms of the movement, and seems to be a logical place for it to fit. From there, what I've done is what I've done in the past is continue to look at the most logical places based on the sculpt where there's existing parts that look like they might tie into something, and then putting them in place to actually make them a practical mounting point for where things go. There's a lot of versions of the Terminator stuff around where there are just absolutely no cables at all, and to me, from an original sculpted point of view, these points just seem to be a logical place that there would have been a cable connected, and I think they actually look quite good that way as well. So that's the back part, and that's the front. So again, you can't see too much of the cabling from the front, which I guess is the biggest problem with a lot of these sort of stuff, because it's quite often photographed from the front. But I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. The only real difference where I've taken liberty in where they actually connect is in the base of the pelvis piece. These points that you can see here are actually mounting points for where the pelvis connects to the spine. So I'm blocking off. You can see there's a screw hole. Well, you can see that that's where one of the screw holes will be, and the cable will actually go into to block that off and hide those as well. So the only three visible ones will be those three, and I'm actually thinking about, once it's fully assembled, is to actually plug them off with that invisible rivet technique that I've done in another video, and that will keep them completely invisible. And there's another one that you can see here at the front where I've yet to put a corresponding hole, but the principle's basically the same with that. Again, I've done that largely from the point of view of there's virtually nothing in the way of underneath photos or underneath reference material I've been able to find, but based on where the cables run and how they sit in the photos that I have seen, it just seems to be the most logical place to actually put them. I need to start building the other leg now, just like I did with the torso. Now that I've got the cables worked out, it shouldn't be too difficult now to actually work out the corresponding leg and start working out where all those are going to go. You can see here I've done a slightly thicker version of the stainless steel cable that I used in the torso, and I just think the heavier cable looks a bit nicer against the heavier pistons that actually appear in the leg. So anyway, just a quick update for that one. I'm quite pleased with the way they work, and they don't restrict any of the movement in the joints, and I think they certainly add to the build rather than just having the pistons bare. So that's the update for this one. I'll do more as I do the other leg. Hope you like this one. Thanks for watching.